Hello Science 30s, this video is going to be about benzene. And the first thing you should know is that benzene is not always just called benzene. In everyday life you might have heard of things called aromatics, and so this is also called an aromatic ring. And as well, another name for this that you might have seen is a phenyl ring. And so if you ever see the word phenyl, that just means benzene. So what is benzene? So benzene looks like this. What we have is we'll just count up our carbons. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons in a ring with a double bond every second bond. So here would be a single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond. And then off of every carbon now, since every carbon now has 1, 2, 3 bonds coming off of it, you now have room for one more bond, which is where your hydrogens come off. And so our chemical formula for benzene is C6H6. And you will not often see it written in this format. More often you will see it written in two different types of formats that we'll see. And both of these formats, we don't even write in the carbons. The carbons are just shown by wherever we have two lines meeting. And so this is one way that we would show it. We would have our ring like this and show our double bond like that. Or the other way that we would show this is very similar to this. We would have it like this, have our ring like that, and then the way we're going to show our double bonds this time is with a circle in the middle. And so those are the two ways that you're most likely going to see benzene shown in Science 30. Now, why do we show it as a circle? And the reason why I prefer the circle method myself, this way as opposed to this. The reason being is that what we're trying to get across by showing the circle is this idea of resonance. And so what resonance is the idea that the double bond, for example, if I focus on one of these double bonds right here, that is not staying there forever. And that double bond is actually moving around. It's moving around from here to, and it's kind of moving all around all the, and in fact, it's, as a scientist, we often say it's impossible to kind of pin it down where it is at any one point in time. And so that's why with the circle, it kind of just shows us that those double bonds are moving around this molecule all the time. And so that's basically what that means. Now, a little bit about benzene. Obviously, benzene is big in Alberta because it is found in petroleum and in coal. And another one of those chemicals where we did not understand how poisonous and how toxic it really was to us at the beginning. Now, gasoline in Canada does contain some benzene, but it is limited to the amount that compared to what it used to be. So a lot less benzene in our gasoline than it used to be. The other thing you might hear about this with environment is remediation. So remediation is a term you should know. And what remediation refers to is, for example, we have an old gas station, decades old, and they're closed down. You might have seen around Edmonton this happening a few times where that just sits empty for decades. And the reason why is because the soil in that area is actually has a lot of benzene built into it, and from that gas station being there for decades. And that soil, you cannot build on it, you cannot use it for anything until a company comes in and remediates it. And that costs a lot of money. And so it takes a lot of time to get the finances worked out for that. And there's a lot of people, not taking responsibility as well. That's been happening as well. But it sits empty. Sits empty for decades. Someone gets the money finally to do it. The soil gets remediated and then finally gets cleared to be built on. And so remediation is an important term for you guys to know. The last type of benzene molecule that we're going to learn about is something called the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or the PAHs. And pHs are pretty important to know about because what they're from is going to be things like charred meat. And so we get this whenever we barbecue. Usually, if you have a little bit of charred meat on your burger, on your steak, on your chicken, or whatever, you're going to have some PAHs present. Now, why is that important to know about? Because what that is actually going to do is lead to DNA mutation, and so it is a carcinogen. And so this is why, I mean, having, you know, I'm not going to say there's a certain number, but having one meal of charred meat is probably not bad. But if you're having charred meat all the time, you're definitely at a risk of cancer from that. And that's what I want you to know about benzene for now. We'll probably get into benzene a little bit more in future videos, but know the structure, know the names, and basically know a little bit about pHs and yeah, where benzene comes from. Thank you.